Karen Reed's retrial right now. Dr. Elizabeth Lapasoda, that you see there, is on the stand for cross-examination. She's that forensic pathologist with experience in doing autopsies on car crash victims. Let's bring in our investigative reporter, Olivia Rubin, along with former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani. All right, how do you think it's going so far, as we could be possibly reaching the end of this, Olivia?
It seems like they are sort of getting to the end with her testimony. And then, as we were just discussing, the defense has one more expert that they're going to put on the witness stand. So it depends how long that will take. And then the prosecution has indicated that they also have a rebuttal case that they're going to be putting on. They have two witnesses, they say, that they have ready to go, and that should take about 2 hours, Kira. And then from there, it's off to closing arguments, jury instructions, and then the jury would have this case. So in terms of timing, it really depends how long the defense is going to take with their next expert. But it could seem like we're getting to closing statements as soon as tomorrow, if not the following day. Definitely on track, it seems. With trials, you can really never predict. So I hate to give a prediction, but it does seem like this week is going to be the last here.
All right, Neama, what's standing out to you so far as we continue to listen to this pathologist?
What's standing out is the prosecution is doing better than the first trial, which really was nothing short of a debacle. They're lucky they even got a chance at a retrial. If the defense had asked to poll the jury, we probably wouldn't be here by now. But is it enough to clear reasonable doubt? Let's not forget it's a criminal case. They have to get 12 out of 12 jurors. And now you have these experts that are saying completely different things. You have some of Karen Reed's admissions, which are good, but you have this alternate theory of liability and death. Was John O'Keefe hit by Karen Reed's vehicle to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, at least according to these experts, and beyond a reasonable doubt, which is what the jurors need to find? And even if he was, has the Commonwealth proven knowledge and intent to get second-degree murder, or are we just talking about manslaughter here? Seems like a very uphill battle. I think the defense has the upper hand here, especially with all these experts really contradicting and unwinding everything that the Commonwealth has done over the past several weeks.
All right, Olivia, Neama, we're going to head back in. Oh, okay. They just wrapped up testimony, apparently, with the pathologist there, Dr. Elizabeth Lapasoda. Where do we want to go? Back into the courtroom? All right, we'll go back into the courtroom now.
Yes.
John, may we approach?
Okay, jurors, feel free to stand up and stretch.
All right, so Neama, right when we go back in, we keep getting sidebars. Is this because we're getting close to the end? Is it because of what this pathologist is saying within testimony that they're wanting to correct or double check? Or why are we having so many sidebars with this witness?
Kira, it's really usually an evidentiary issue, and often these are handled outside the presence of the jurors. We heard some of that. We saw all those individuals with laptops in the back. Those are all the pool reporters that are there. So they're providing updates as well, things that necessarily aren't caught by the cameras because those conversations are happening when the jurors either haven't arrived for the day or they're back in that jury deliberation room. We know the testimony of this witness was limited, so it could be that, or frankly, it could just be a scheduling issue because we're in the afternoon right now and the judge is saying, well, what witness do you have? Is he or she available? Do we have time? It's almost 3 o'clock on the East Coast to have another expert witness, or do you have someone else who you can fit in for the next hour and a half to 2 hours?
So why do you think this is coming to the end? Is it just because they're finished with witnesses? Your perspective on why everybody has been chatting about this finally possibly wrapping up.
Kira, the reason I think this is coming to the end is any lawyer wants to start strong and end strong. So here's a witness that says that John O'Keefe died before he was outside. He died someplace completely different. There was no grass in the wound. So she came as a very strong witness. Looks like another expert. I think this is the biomechanic. I think the defense wants to end with its best witnesses. And I think probably this is individual who I think is a biomechanic expert. The defense thinks is their absolute best witness. So before closing arguments, that last word that they have before the prosecution starts its rebuttal case is this expert. That's why everyone thinks that we're coming near the end to the defense's case.
Got it. All right. Well, let's see if indeed, if he is the best witness, the most interesting witness. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Where do you work?
I work for a company called ARCA LLC.
Tell us a little bit about ARCA. What is ARCA?
ARCA is an engineering consulting firm. So we do litigation type work, both civil and criminal, where we look at, for instance, I do biomechanics. So I look at injury causation in different types of events, motor vehicle accidents, pedestrian, automobile incidents, sports-related injuries, industrial accidents. We also do accident reconstruction, as well as all types of really forensic type engineering. And we also do R&D, research and development, for private and governmental entities.
What's your current title?
I'm a vice president and director of biomechanics for the Midwest Division.
The director position that you hold, that's the official position at ARCA?
That's correct, yes, sir.
How are you ARCA's senior biomechanist?
I'm one of them, yes.
And how long have you held the position of director of biomechanics and human factors?
It's been at least 5 years. I don't recall exactly how long.
What exactly does is it biomechanist or biomechanist?
Biomechanist, yeah.
All right, I'll get it right by the time we're finished. What is a biomechanist? What do you do?
So a biomechanist really looks at the human body, and we look at the response of the human body to forces and accelerations. We apply traditional engineering, but to the human body. So a mechanical engineer, for instance, might look at a piece of steel, and you know the dimensions and size of the steel. If you apply a force in a certain direction with a certain magnitude, that steel will bend and eventually it'll break. Was a biomechanist or biomechanical engineer, I do the same thing, but I look at the human body. How much force has to be applied in what direction to get a specific type of injury, whether it's a fracture of your humerus, a concussion, intervertebral disc injury. Any type of injury has what we call an injury mechanism. So we look at the response of how the body reacts to forces in different environments. Ultimately, our hope is to actually help prevent and mitigate accidents. Motor vehicle incidents, we look at the design of airbags and seatbelts, sporting equipment, how can we reduce concussions and injuries associated with that? So ultimately, we try to figure out how to make the environment and the world safer for people in whatever type of interaction you might have.
Is that sometimes called injury causation analysis?
It is. That's one aspect of it. Injury causation analysis is looking at how an injury occurs. So if someone sustains an injury, as a biomechanist, I can look at the events surrounding that incident and determine how the injury occurred. Now, how someone was positioned, how much force had to have been applied to certain parts of their body to actually produce a given injury.
Why is injury causation analysis important in the
All right. As you heard Neama and Olivia, they think things are going to wrap really soon. This is a key witness here on the stand right now giving testimony in the Karen Reed retrial. We'll track it, let you know how things are going. Of course, the news never stops. Neither do we. I'm Kira Phillips. Glad you're with us. A lot more news up next. Don't go far.
How certain injuries occur, cervical injuries, concussions.
It's a big match for the National Women's Soccer League, and only the best will win.